Welcome to the Aging Well podcast. I'm Jeff Armstrong here with Corbin Bruton. In this and the episodes that follow, we will share candid discussions on aging and hear from the experts. We are here to inform and encourage as we experience, well, aging.
So we've been talking a lot about what to do in order to age well, especially as we get closer to that fourth age. And ironically, right around this time of year, we have open enrollment at my job for what insurance benefits we're going to take and for the future of 2024. And as I was filling out my, HIMSS test, my health medical, to see where you're at and what category, it's a mandatory thing that they make us do here in Oregon. One of the things that popped up after I was done taking that was, hey, are you interested in ways to be physically active and move? And I was like, of course, I'm always interested in stuff like that. And they ended up sending me a little packet. And I thought we could kind of dive into the packet today because there is some good information in here, but it's also, why not bring it on to our podcast and talk with someone who has their doctorates in exercise and physiology? And the first page is physical activities. Take away for your adding activity. To squeeze activity into your tight schedule and movement to daily routines, stay safe by easing into new activities. I feel like that's pretty sound advice.
Yeah, as long as we don't ease too slowly. I mean, the key with it's not necessarily adding new activity too frequently or too much too soon. It's how much intensity and how much duration are we doing initially. So it's, don't ease into it by, I'm going to go 1 day a week this week. And then, next month I'll go to 2 days and 3 days. And then 5 years from now, I'll eventually be up to, every day doing some level of physical activity. We can immediately jump into, I'm going to start working out every day, but I want to limit the duration of it maybe to a certain extent, or we're limiting the kind of intensity or the nature of the work that I'm doing. So we build into the body so our body is able to adapt so that we can adapt further down the road.
Well, that's your advice. Their advice and their suggestion is, at work, move more while sitting or talking. Stretch your legs in front of you. Hold them for a moment. Roll your shoulders, bend and breathe deeply. Lift a light weight with elbows at your waist and then with your arms perpendicular to your body. Reclaim your breaks. Try lunges, squats, and desk push-ups. Use stairwells for a quick aerobic step workout. Walk at your lunchtime carrying hand weights or bags of groceries.
Not unreasonable. I mean, basically what they're saying is increase your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So just getting more active, moving more is obviously going to have some health benefits. And so those are some good tips for just moving more. That's not necessarily exercise from my point of view. I mean, it's exercise from the standpoint of that you're doing more physical activity for the point of improving your health. But those are only kind of those first baby steps toward a regular regimented exercise program.
Well, if you're at home, it suggests combining chores with your activities. Extend your arms farther and bend lower while blow drying your hair or lacing your shoes. Use your countertop for push-ups while reading, watching the news, or waiting for your water to boil. Take the stairs in a slow motion while carrying the laundry. Team up with others. Learn safe ways to include kids in yoga practice. Do lunges and squats during your favorite TV show. Walk with the family, friends, and neighbors.
Sounds like Carolyn Barnes and Tasker Size.
Hey, this is an actual pamphlet. It's got plenty of good, wholesome information out there. Hey, you mentioned adding intensity. Well, the second page, they talked about adding intensity as well. To add intensity to your chosen activity, gradually increase your efforts or time. And don't forget to track your progress.
Okay, that's a no-brainer. That's progressive overload. So that's good.
So adding effort aerobic while walking, swimming, biking. Alternate 5 minutes at your usual pace and then 30 seconds in a faster level. Train for local competitions like a charity walk. I actually like that. I think charity walks or runs or, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. A lot of the areas have the turkey trot or burn the bird, something like that. At least it keeps you somewhat motivated to train for something.
Burn the bird?
Yeah, burn the bird. It's
Okay.
the marathon right after Thanksgiving. No, you never heard of that?
No, I've never heard of that. Now that it's after Thanksgiving, it makes sense. What do we burn? How are we burning the bird? You're burning the calories. So,
Yeah.
um, which I think that kind of doesn't fit the idea of how we want to really approach our caloric balance. Basically, we have eaten excessively, and so the goal now is just we got to burn off all those calories. It really kind of makes the whole holiday season a bit more negative and puts a lot more stress on people. It's like we're going to overconsume at Thanksgiving, and this is likely going to air probably after Thanksgiving, I believe. But when we overconsume, we don't want to punish ourselves. We just want to get back on track to eating normally. And an occasional overindulgence is not going to be bad, and it's not something we should feel guilty for. We need to prepare for it. So when we know that we're going into a holiday season and we're going to have occasions where there's going to be more calories available to us or more, decadent foods that we want to enjoy them. By all means, enjoy those foods and don't feel guilty for it, but don't overindulge in them and have a plan to prepare for them. Maybe, have a big meal coming. We're going to eat a little bit less in our earlier meals of the day, plan on some physical activity and, plan to be consistent in our exercise so that we can manage those calories without feeling like, oh, I just ate so poorly yesterday. I got to go punish myself by going to the gym for an extra hour.
Well, that was their suggestion for aerobic. Their suggestion for strength training is use slightly heavier weights, try crunches on an incline bench, and practice or extend yoga poses like the plank and crow.
Okay, really recommending probably the worst possible exercises to be starting a strengthening program. I think we know how I feel about crunches as being one of the most useless core exercises that people do. But people feel like the more crunches I do, the more six-pack ab I'm going to have. Plank is not a bad exercise, and it's probably one that we should do as a beginner to help build up some of that core stability to be able to do more of the basic 5 that we generally talk about: the squat, deadlift variation, bench, row, and overhead press. But really focus on those basic complex movement patterns that are going to give us the most bang for our buck in our exercise. Don't go to the gym and immediately go to doing crunches or doing arm curls. Go to the stuff that's going to give you the most return for your effort. I discussed my epigenetics test with True Diagnostic co-founder Hannah Wendt in episode 162. Epigenetic testing measures baseline and changes in your pace of aging, giving you the power to steer your anti-aging or health and wellness journey in the right direction. I learned that I am aging well. Click on the affiliate link in the episode description, use the promo code AGEWELL, and receive a 12% discount on your epigenetics test and monitor your pace of aging.
All right, and then adding time. So adding time to your aerobic, you need to tack on extra minutes or days to your usual walk, swim, or bike ride.
Again, no brainer there. But again, you get to a point, what's that maximum time? So we want to really look at optimally how much time do I have available for exercise, and we build up our exercise to that period of time. So it might be, the intensity has to be pretty slow and build up to where we can walk or jog for 30 minutes if that's our goal target time period. But we don't have to worry about going beyond that. But if that's our maximal time, then how do we get more benefit out of the 30 minutes? Well, we have to start looking at now increasing the intensities in order to optimize that time. We don't have to do more and more and more, because especially for cardio, the more cardio we're spending, I think it was Kenneth Cooper who said, if you're running for more than 30 minutes, you're doing it for more than your health. We don't need to spend long periods of time unless we're training for a marathon. We need to use that time effectively.
For their strength training, they say add more minutes to your current routine, add more days of strengthening to your week to avoid working the same set of muscles 2 days straight, work the upper body one day and then the lower body the next, and enroll in a weekly class at a gym or online.
All right, again, not horrible recommendations, but again, we're not looking at the duration of the exercise, the strengthening exercise. We're really looking at the overall intensity and the quality of the exercise that we're doing. And so again, plan a period of time that you have available for your strengthening exercise. Maybe you start out 2 or 3 days per week, and then you need to either add sessions to that or you need to just improve the quality of what you're doing.
I also feel like with a blanket statement of what they're saying, it's good. It's a gateway. It opens up, but it's not allowing the individual to really think of their goals. Does that make sense? I feel like these blanket statements, they're not as specific enough, which I feel like, yes, they are a good gateway to get an individual to start thinking, hey, I'm about to start my fitness journey. So maybe I should just add more intensity. Okay. But like you said, be specific with the intensity that you're adding.
Yeah. And I think, when you look at these documents that they give out en masse to, a population, they're intended to be motivational, give some general guidance, but we have to realize that every individual is different and has a different set of needs, different set of goals, different sets of opportunities to be able to exercise. And so we've got to be careful not to just take the general goal and run with it. We need to be looking at identifying specifically, what do I need to be doing? What do I need to accomplish in my exercise in order to age well? And so take these with a bit more grain of salt. Being cautious of taking these general recommendations as absolutes.
Page 3 in this packet is adding variety. Change up your exercise routine to keep up with your interests. Choose a different type, intensity, or style of activity that best fits your health goals.
The issue I take with that statement, again, being overly general, obviously variety is going to be of certain importance when we're looking at exercising for the broader health benefits. But the issue I have with really encouraging too much variety is that we don't improve significantly in each of the different skill patterns or the different areas of health and fitness, because we are so focused on doing so many different things, we don't get good at any of it, and so when it comes to strengthening exercises, particularly for a beginner, I don't think it's important to be pushing variety. Learn the basic movement patterns first. So, start with a squat. Do a body weight squat. When you can do a proper body weight squat, add some weight to it and progress to where you can go a little bit heavier. And whether you're doing a back squat right from the start or a goblet squat is a great way to kind of begin to learn the proper movement patterns. I'm a big fan of the Zercher squat, as we've probably brought up multiple times, because that takes the load off of the back and has a much greater impact on the musculature of the core and of the upper back. And it's also a much safer movement for many people. Pick a movement, get good at it, get stronger at it, and don't worry about variety. Maybe you vary up the intensities at a certain point, but again, it's going to be a while before you're to the point where variety is really going to be that important. And variety is important for a bodybuilder where they're really trying to chisel the muscle, and to sculpt the muscle for physique competition. But for most of us just trying to build strength, you could do those same 5 movements day after day, year after year, and still get benefits from them. And so throwing in a lot of variety just causes us to have to manage the novelty of that new movement. And it feels like it's harder, but the only reason it's harder is because neurologically, we're not skilled at doing it, and we never get really good strength from it. I think if you're going to get better hypertrophy, starting out lifting, keep basic, keep consistent, and do that for a long period of time until you start seeing the gains to where your gains are diminishing because you need to change up the exercise a little bit more.
Kind of like a Vince Lombardi, practice doesn't make perfect, perfect practice makes, just practice your perfection in one thing before moving on to the next. Is that what I'm hearing?
And doing that regularly. If you're doing different exercise every time, that motor learning that you pick up in, say, Monday's exercise session, and you're not going to do the same movement again for another week, you lose a little bit of that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's actually really good advice. Now, what their suggestion is for the adding variety, they have 3 different categories on here. They have types of exercise you can spice up with variety, the types of intensity you can do to add variety, and the choices you can make in order to maintain the variety. So the types, they say, build stamina by walking, biking, swimming, strengthen muscles with weightlifting resistance exercises, and strength and stretch for more flexibility with yoga, bar, and dynamic movement. But again, there's nothing specific in there. You're at least suggesting, hey, master the squat. And here's why. Here are the benefits of that. And there's different varieties of that squat in itself. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like a specific scenario to someone who's just starting their journey and specifying their type of variety, I feel like that would be more beneficial than just this blanket statement.
Yeah, and again, they are just blanket statements. It's a pamphlet. It's not intended to give a precise exercise prescription. I think it's easier just to say, do things that are going to build your cardiorespiratory endurance, and these are the activities, and mention the types of aerobic activities that we can choose from in order to improve. And we can improve our cardiorespiratory endurance by increasing the duration and the intensity of the exercise. We want to do things that are going to be improving our muscle endurance, muscle strength, and we do that by increasing the endurance and the intensity of the activity. Again, keeping consistent with the movements are going to help us to learn those proper movement patterns so we can add load to it, and we can continue to kind of progress the exercise so that we get stronger from it and better from it.
All right, so page 4, aerobic activities. Get your heart pumping with easy, fun aerobic movements. You can use mini workouts of 10 minutes each day to accumulate 30 minutes daily. On weekends, try longer sessions. Remember to work up to the intense activities gradually.
Yeah, again, it's a no-brainer, and we've been talking about that. It seems like it's almost redundant in that pamphlet that they keep saying to start with an activity and do more. That's basically progressive overload, and I think in some of these pamphlets it would be easier if they actually educated people in the basic principles of exercise, as opposed to just making these broad kind of blanket statements of, do this. It's just, I think most people have heard these things, but the biggest challenge for the average person that's trying to age well is, how do I do this? And that's why, one of the reasons why I think we have this podcast is our goal is to help people to find the hows, as opposed to stop telling me what I need to do, show me how to do it, and I'll do it.
Well, one of the suggestions that they make is they have different categories. In the morning, their suggestion on how you can add aerobic activities is take a break from sitting or standing by easing into a set of lunges, high knees, or jumping jacks. In your afternoon, you can use a smartwatch or virtual assistant such as Alexis or Google to access an on-demand exercise program. And in the evenings, you can watch a movie about a favorite person, event, or era while climbing in place or performing squats, stair climbs, or burpees. That's their suggestion for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad suggestion. It's just, again, very generic, generalized type of prescription. It's not a specific prescription to the needs of the average individual.
Well, and then in the next page, they write a workout log where you can add your own prescription to it. So you can write the workouts that you did, your weights that you're doing, your reps, your sets, your time, your distance, your intensity, and then a total and any notes you can have for yourself.
Okay, so I mean, I think it's a good demonstration for the individual how we can record what we work out. I think it's important to record your workouts. I just use composition notebooks and I write down every workout what I do. And then do I ever necessarily go back to them? Maybe, maybe not. But recording what we do can motivate us in our progress. It can also help us to plan our exercise a little bit more effectively.
They also suggest your takeaway for family fun. Kids, teens, and adults, all family members benefit from active routines. Aim for at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Choose to move in ways you already enjoy.
Okay. Again, that's a no-brainer, just getting people more active. Not telling us the hows per se, or the whats. It's just saying to do it. And we know that only 23% of the US population is meeting the minimum exercise guidelines. So telling people to do what they already know to do and aren't doing isn't necessarily going to change their behavior. So the question is, how do we get them to actually start actively moving as a family? Well, and giving some basic advice is not a bad idea.
They say try and get everyone all on board. And as a family, you can do daily activities such as you can extend your dog walk with everyone there. Or after dinner, you can all get together and go on a bike ride.
Okay. I mean, again, it's a generic but good recommendation. It's telling people to move as a family, get the whole family involved. Nothing wrong with that.
I actually really like that. I think that's a cool concept of getting everyone involved. You know, if mom and dad are doing it, that means the kids are doing it too. Take away leisure time activities. Adding exercise to downtime can lift up your mood and refresh your outlook and keep it fit.
Okay, pretty redundant. I mean, it's what we've been saying. So it's, again, just giving you a sense of the benefit of exercise, reinforcing that.
Limited movement. When moving and awkward or painful, ask your doctor about the best exercises for you. Choose some current favorites if possible and progress slowly towards your activities and goals.
Again, a better goal there is if you're having pain with exercise, consult your physician.
What they do suggest is do more of what you enjoy, such as extending your dog walks, digging in your garden or raking plants, riding your bike a little farther, and play ball a little longer. Mix the movement and task. You can walk or wheel where it's safe to do so and talk on the phone at the same time. I don't know how, but I don't know. See, I don't know.
Watching people walking and talking on their phones or texting while they're exercising. But
you can work.
Yeah, the basic launching point on that particular point was about being injured and having pain, right?
Right.
So a better recommendation, if you are having pain or having an injury, it doesn't seem to behoove us to continue to do what we are doing, because is that what's causing the pain? I think really thing to consider is if you have pain, assess what you are doing and what is it that is causing that pain, and modify the behavior so that we are no longer causing the injury, we're allowing the injury to heal, and we are taking steps to prevent further injury.
Well, what you're saying is actually the very last bullet on this massive page of all these suggestions. And it says, work with a certified fitness coach referred by your doctor or enroll in an aquatic fitness class to relieve some of the pain.
Okay.
But that's at the bottom of what, like a 13-page bullet points of everything.
It's not 13 pages of bullet points.
I mean, 13
bullet points.
13 bullet points. Yep. 13 page. That'd be insane. Takeaway for strengthening. The key to strengthening is to find activities you enjoy. Gradually expand your choices to include all muscle groups twice weekly. Remember to rest for a day between workouts. That includes the same set of muscles. That's pretty standard.
Yeah, it's just, again, just kind of reiterating the basic ACSM guidelines for physical activity and not being very specific in terms of what one should do in order to do that. It's just that's the bare minimum what somebody should be doing for health purposes.
Well, they do talk about utilizing your body weights such as sit-ups, push-ups, squats, lunges, and burpees, and yoga and Pilates. For equipment, they suggest soup cans at first and then move up to kettlebells and then machines. And then guidance of tracking. You can do either live on demand fitness instruction videos or hire a personal trainer, or you can wear an Apple Watch or Google app that tracks your heart rate.
Yeah, well, tracking your heart rate and using like a Google Watch or something like that's going to track your steps and all that doesn't make you move. It doesn't help you move any better. I just think it takes from the budget that could go into buying equipment that might be a little bit more effective. It's interesting that they jump you from cans, so basically use what's around the house, to kettlebells, which are quite expensive and not as adaptable as, say, dumbbells. I mean, personally, if I'm making recommendations to get some home fitness equipment, I would start with, get some dumbbells. You can get, a small set of adjustable dumbbells that are suited to your current strength, and then you can progress and add plates as you get stronger. So your investment grows as you need it. So you're not going out and buying a big set of fixed dumbbells running from 5 to 100 pounds and spending thousands of dollars for that. You can go out relatively cheaply and get an adjustable set, maybe multiple adjustable sets as you need more of them, so you can do multiple exercises, and then progress to what I'd recommend is more of an Olympic barbell set, where you could buy the set. It's like 310 pounds, I think, is a standard set that you could buy at a Dick's or sporting goods store or get online, or numerous different places that you can buy fitness equipment. And then buy that, maybe a bench and a rack that you can squat from. You can, if you're investing in a home gym, do it modestly at the start. It's going to cost you less than a gym membership, and you add as you need as you get stronger. Going to kettlebells, not that kettlebells are bad exercises, but you need multiple weights depending on your strength. And we don't want to just encourage using the same weight repeatedly and the same weight for every exercise. I think we did an episode a while back about all the benefits you can get from a 10-pound dumbbell, and we realized there's no progression in a 10-pound dumbbell, and squatting with a 10-pound dumbbell or a 10-pound kettlebell is not going to be as effective as using that same 10 pounds to do an arm curl. And so going to kettlebells, I think, was a little bit of a jump there, and not maybe the best recommendation for somebody with a home gym. What was the next progression from a kettlebell?
Oh, I'll have to go back. It was machines.
Yeah. So jumping from a kettlebell to a machine, now you're like, okay, well, now you got to go to the gym. And the machines are extremely limiting as well. You can only do leg extensions on a leg extension machine. You can only do leg curls on a leg curl machine. You can only do pec flies on a pec fly machine. There's not a lot of opportunity to really vary up your workouts there. Again, free weights give you a little bit more of that opportunity to vary things up. Plus, it's going to also benefit your stability, your core strength, and those types of things. So I would say just kind of choose an exercise plan and a program and where you're going to train so that you can progress the exercise over time as your body adapts and as your goals change.
The next physical activity suggestion is stretching activities. Slowly build stretching activities into your day at your desk, after a walk, or during your strengthening workouts. Begin each stretch with an inhale and then exhale into the actual stretch itself. Hold for 15 to 30 seconds while breathing in and out.
Nothing necessarily wrong with that recommendation. The biggest thing that I would add to that is to realize that your best stretches are going to come after exercise once the muscles are warmed. So, the idea of stretching at work, it may have some benefits of kind of relaxing the muscles a little bit, especially as we're sitting at a computer all day to better improve our posture. But to truly improve our flexibility, which is our pain-free range of motion, we need to be stretching after regular physical activity when the body is warmed. And I would encourage really just doing more full range of movement, moving more throughout the day, and that's going to help to have a benefit on our overall flexibility.
Right, and we don't need to dive into this, but you're right. This one in particular is primarily for how to stretch at your desk if you have an inactive job. The stretches that they do suggest are for triceps, hamstrings, and your quadriceps. But that's primarily, and we don't have to dive into each one. The next one is weight and activity. Active daily routines help you lose weight, especially if you're eating healthy. Adding vigorous exercises can help you keep off unwanted pounds forever.
Oh, no falsehood in that. I mean, again, I guarantee that almost everybody knows that if I'm more active, I'm going to lose weight. But their struggle is not knowing that they need to move more. It's how do I move more? What do I do to get more active?
Funny you should ask. They say mix it up. Combine activities with work, chores, and leisure. Break from work with a walk, stretch, or an exercise class. Run or bike to your store, the post office, or meeting up with friends. Use phone chats as opportunities to exercise while you talk, and plan weekends around family fitness events such as bowling, basketball, or touch football.
Yeah, nothing new there, but how is this getting people to actually do what they already know to do?
And then that's it. That's the entire pamphlet on health and exercise and moving. And that's essentially what they gave us.
Nothing necessarily bad about any of that. It's just we need to do a better job in our work settings, in our communities, in our state governments, in our national government to not only tell people to go out and exercise and spend a lot of money on pamphlets that basically tell people what they already know. We need to focus in on improving accessibility, improving the motivation to do it, to incentivize doing it, not just simply say go out and do this and make yourself healthier, and give people the opportunity and the will to be able to move more. Because it is a big issue in our country. I mean, I think the biggest health issue facing the United States of America is inactivity. And we're not doing enough in our communities to make it easier for people to access physical activity and exercise. We are not doing enough to make it possible for them to do that, to access the time in our days to be able to exercise. So many people are working numerous jobs just to be able to pay the rent and pay the bills. We need to focus on how do we get people more active, how to get them exercising more so that we can reduce the cost of healthcare rather than spending more and more money on healthcare, right? So invest a little bit of money. Let's put up or shut up in our governments if we're gonna, or our companies. If you want your people to be healthier, don't just give them a pamphlet and say do this. Give them the corporate fitness programs, build communities that are active communities. When you build a building that you're going to house your business in, don't put the elevator in the most convenient part and hide the stairwells. So people are more likely to get on an elevator and go up a floor rather than walking up the stairs. Don't put an escalator in without putting stairs next to it. And, do the things that are going to make people able to follow these recommendations. Don't just give recommendations, because recommendations, you might as well write them on toilet paper, because that's about as good as they are. And getting people the access to exercise is what's most important if we're going to get people to
age well.
Thank you for listening. I hope you benefited from today's podcast. And until next time, keep aging well. If you have topics you would like to have us discuss on the Aging Well podcast, please click on the links in the episode description to send us a text or record your message or comments. We'd love to hear from you and how we can help you age well. If you benefit from the Aging Well podcast and would like to support the content financially, please click on the Support the Show link or support our affiliates and advertisers.